Piyush Goyal in Mumbai, Dr. Balachandra Mungekar of the Congress in Delhi, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist in Delhi, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy of the Janata Party, Atul Kumar Anjan of the left, and Lord Meghnad Desai, one of India's best known economists and political thinkers. Thank you very much, gentlemen. This is a fantastic left Congress, NDA, Janata Party and BJP panel that we have on the Newshour tonight. Thank you very much indeed. Well, Piyush Goyal, you're being accused of obstructionism, of being so obstructionist in your entire approach that you will not even hesitate to be anti-poor if required. That's the charge that Sanjay Nirupam laid out in Parliament.
It was quite humorous because 65 years after independence, 55 of which this government and Congress-led coalitions have been in power, the poor still have to go hungry for food. I think the whole indictment is on the Congress themselves, that all that they have to promise.
Are you against the food security bill?
Arnab, thoda दूसरों को बोलने दिया करो यार.
Are you against the bill?
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Okay, so kindly hear other people out sometimes. The basic question here is, 65 years after independence, the people of this country are poor thanks to the Congress, thanks to the mismanagement. And the only thing I can see out of the food security bill, which Mr. P.C. Chidambaram has acknowledged on the floor of the House, is that he has provided only 5,000 crores additional. There is no other new money. No, all they want to do is probably do some more corruption and add one more gate to your list of gates.
May I now?
Add one more corruption scandal. All that they are trying to do is bring in a promise which can only help to fill up their coffers more. So you will have a food gate coming up very soon.
May I?
Other than that, Mr. Sanjay Nirupam has only homilies to give, and he claims that they want to do something for the poor. If he wants to do something for the poor, tell him to go and see Gujarat, tell him to go and see Chhattisgarh, tell him to go and see Madhya Pradesh, where the poor actually get food subsidized at low cost and there's nobody going hungry. That's what Sanjay Nirupam needs to do, not make promises of a right to food.
Do I have your permission?
Which has nothing to do with the people.
Do I have your permission to ask a question? The point is, say all this in the Rajya Sabha. Say all this in the Rajya Sabha. 1 minute.
Hang on, I want to respond to this.
1 minute, please. No, one second.
It is completely baseless.
No, it's not. No,
say it in the Rajya Sabha,
but you're not letting me
government
speak.
Gets off. They want to get off the hook. They want to somehow say that, divert attention from these gates and start talking about it in Rajya Sabha.
Okay, you won't let me speak, but I will nevertheless, without halting, complete what I have to say. Even if the government passes the food security bill in the Rajya Sabha, they face a huge hurdle in the Lok Sabha, they face a hurdle in the Rajya Sabha where the numbers are not on their side. You can hold up the bill if you want there. What you are doing now is giving a situation where the government will go and say, look there, the opposition is so uncooperative and disruptive. We cannot help the Aam Aadmi because of you. 1 minute. Balachandra Mungekar, my question to you on the contrary is this. Explain this extreme anxiety to pass the food bill. What happened? If I'm not mistaken, this bill has been pending since 2011.
And where is the 2 lakh crores required for it?
That is absolutely right. Arnav, I would begin by saying that by this obstructionist method, BJP is making crime against the nation. Just crime is the only word.
What about the corruption? That's good for the nation.
Land acquisition.
The corruption is good for the nation.
I will come to that. Please, Piyush. BJP is obstructionism. BJP is making crime against the nation by obstructing the land acquisition bill, blocking the development process, and by opposing the food security bill. It is a crime against the poverty.
What is the law minister, the railway minister, the sports minister, all of them are doing service to the nation.
Please, Piyush, Mr. Piyush, we know it, you don't come to the discussion. My point is, today, I have got regard for Mr. Jeshma and Sushma Ji Swaraj. Do they understand the implication of resignation of the Prime Minister? Does it mean that the resignation of the entire government? Are they ready for the election?
Yes, we are ready.
Why they are not bringing no confidence motion?
Mr. Mungekar, we are ready.
Who is BJP to preemptive? I am sorry, Piyush, who is BJP? A political party in this country cannot arrogate itself to such power that they can undertake upon themselves the job of the judiciary. Why don't you wait up to Wednesday? The entire message is under process. Ashok Chavan has resigned in Adarsha case within 24 hours. Chief Minister
because of
Maharashtra.
Mr.
Shachita resigned in 24 hours. What corruption?
Well, here you have an open and shut case.
For 20 days and still he was not resigned. and ultimately he has to remove, and he started his own political party. BJP is talking about the corruption. You don't believe in democracy. You believe in autocracy. You believe in Ekachalok and Vartitva autocratic government. Basically, I have read from 1925, your entire modus operandi.
Why don't you discuss both? No, I say, no, why don't you, Mr. Mungekar, this is a, I'm sorry to say this, but this is increasingly beginning to look like a fixed match, where the BJP says we'll talk about all the gates and you say we'll talk about the food bill. I want to get in Atul Kumar Anjan, third voice here tonight.
No, I'm not.
Mr. Atul Kumar Anjan, what do you want? Do you want a discussion on Colgate and Railgate in Parliament, or do you, Mr. Atul Kumar Anjan, want an immediate discussion on the food bill? In the interest of the Aam Aadmi, will you be willing to sacrifice discussing Railgate for 2 more days?
No, 1 minute.
Let me ask him the question.
The interest of the Aam Aadmi is that the corruption stops. The interest of the Aam Aadmi is not just a promise.
Sure.
They want money which goes out of the government
Anjan.
to be spent for the poor.
Atul Anjan.
Arnab ji, the way Piyush, what you are doing in the Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, that cannot be replayed here over it. Let us have a discussion very fairly. That is the charge against the opposition, which you are trying to prove with your action. Let's discuss what Congress says. I think Congress says that the opposition are disturbing the parliament. Why we are disturbing the parliament? Why these all one after the other, the scams are coming up? Should opposition keep quiet? The opposition has a mandate from the public that they should speak very clearly about the lapses of the government. If the opposition fails to do this one, I think the people will not forget their role and people will punish them. And so,
what about the food bill?
Right.
What about the food bill? What about the food bill?
I just want... No, what do you think? No, just a minute. I tell you, Arnav, listen one thing. In the last UPA government, UPA one, they thought that bailing out some farmers, they will get the votes of the farmer. And when they came back, again UPA 2, they thought it was the biggest boon for them. Now this food bill, which the left was the originator of this one. And in many states, now I just want to say...
No, is it about ownership? Is it about who owns the bill? Is it about ownership?
Listen, Arnab, 1 rupee kilo. No, where? Almost in 8 states, big states, where the poverty line is very, very clear. This is being practiced. Now at the fag end of this parliament session, you are bringing this bill with a motive. I just want to ask, why you are not bringing the seed bill, which has not seen the light from 2002?
Were you in the government? Were you in the government? Mr. Anjan, let me ask you, were you in the government when the farm loan waiver was announced? Were you in the government?
No, we demanded at that.
Were you in the government?
We demanded this.
No, were you in the government?
We demanded this right.
Were you in the government then?
No, we were supporting from outside.
So you were supporting from outside, so it was all right because you could take... No. So I'm sorry, Mr. Anjan. But that's a straight line of contradiction that I find there in your argument.
I am taking a very principled position.
No,
I am taking a very principled
It's a convenient position.
That why government has not brought it back in the last time. Why they have not suggested.
Mr. Anjan.
This is a political gimmick.
Mr. Anjan.
I tell you, the people of this country are noticing each and every step of this UPA SG SMS government, Sonia Gandhi, Sardar Manmohan Singh government, and they will take necessary steps when the elections are there.
You have avoided my question. I moved to Subramaniam Swamy and other panelists, but you have very conveniently avoided my question because I just pointed out.
I am ready to answer your
question.
That at the fag end of this government, why have they brought this bill?
So
they should have brought it in 5 years back. Where is the money for the bill?
There is a simple counter to that.
Where is the money? First tell them to show us where the money is.
1 second.
Why do they want to fool the people again and again? And now the time is gone. People don't get fooled by these stupid promises.
It's fine. Just because the BJP and the left, get together. No, but just because
every minister is tainted.
It's not the BJP and the left. It's the common man, common sense.
What people will think.
Sir, I'm sorry.
You are not committed for that.
Mr. Anjan,
one minute. A discussion. And I was want to tell you, Arnab, one thing. The same way Indira Gandhi at the fag end in 1974, before imposing the election, many legislation were brought and got cleared. And what happened later on?
What happened to the left?
Later on?
What happened?
Fate this government will also see.
Okay, fine. Now let me.
In 1977.
Today I find that the BJP and the left are in a very aggressive mood.
This is a common man.
Mr.
This is a
Piyush,
common man's agony.
We have not at the very
It's not
outset.
about
I
being
said,
together.
Can I please-
outset I said to Piyush that your type of functioning is not allowed.
No
but
wonder.
At the same time, I say within there is a perception.
No
The
wonder.
government
It's
is
very
not
difficult.
interested. They are
It's-
not fair enough
Sir, it's-
to bring this bill in a good mood. They are trying to take political mileage.
I can only say-
and this will
I can
not
only
be,
say-
you see, taken seriously.
on a lighter note, on a lighter note, if I am permitted one, I can only say that I can completely understand why the government, which was supported by both the left and the BJP, fell down. It is very difficult for anyone else to have their say when both of you get going. Subramaniam Swami, Subramaniam Swami, my question to you is this:
Arnav, congratulations, Arnav.
what have I done now?
You
you
exposed
are
a
very happy
series
in
of
this
scams one after the other,
But
so
you are
that
not
the
going
people
to
of the
get the lead
nation
from the people.
realize how bad this government
is the first time
And
anybody-
Mungekarji, as a good citizen of India, is congratulated.
On a lighter note, this is the first time anybody from the Congress party has congratulated me in the last decade. Thank you very much, Mr. Mungekar. I am touched. Subramaniam Swami, on food bill versus railgate, which one would you choose and why?
Well, both are scandalous, and the food bill is a bill. If you look at the numbers, it's a totally unworkable thing. It's obviously an instrument by which more corruption is going to take place. You're going to, according to the numbers given out by the NAC, 1 lakh crores would be spent to provide 90% subsidy for food for 67% of the population. I don't think the Indian government has that kind of machinery. Mrs. Gandhi tried this when she nationalized the wholesale trade, and within 1 year she apologized to the traders and said, please take it back, we can't manage it. So I don't think there's any difference between railgate. This food bill is one more scandal that we are, or one more food gate we might call it, that we are going to have in the UPA government.
Do you think it's a diversionary tactic, Mr. Swami?
Mr. Subramaniam.
No, it's not a diversion. It's just a reflection of the bankruptcy of the UPA. They don't know what to do.
And you are saying this because it makes the NDA feel a little politically insecure. The large number of people who it is going to touch, the number of people it will bring into possibly the Congress vote bank.
It will be a non-starter. By the time they get moving, the elections will come. Public will realize what it is, and the UPA will be voted out.
You may hope so. You may hope so, Mr. No, Subramaniam Swami. Subramaniam Swami, you're getting a counter from the Congress, but I like to say this: 75% of rural India, 50% of urban India. In other words, 46% of rural and 28% of urban households will be.
They don't have the machinery, and that to an honest machinery to reach this kind of numbers.
Arnav,
Mr. Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, West Bengal, Pondicherry, and many parts of other the Jharkhand and this Chhattisgarh. The food is given free, almost 1 rupee per kg. What is new in this program? We want to discuss in Parliament threadbare, but at the fag end of the Parliament, when 2 days are left, this government has brought this one. It is not a good intention bill.
Meghnath Desai.
Intention bill, a politically motivated bill.
Meghnath Desai.
Tell me.
Lord Meghnath Desai, do you think 1 minute? Do you think the Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute? My question to Lord Meghnath Desai is this, sir. Do you think, the BJP will be able to derail the political advantage that the food security bill brings? That's one. B, what will matter more in terms of political perception? The food bill or the numerous scams that the government is being hit by?
I think the food bill is more serious consequence for the long run than any scam is. Scams will go on happening in every government. I mean, scams are not new, they'll go on happening. And they'll go on shouting at each other. But the food bill commits us to an entitlement which is so serious that if it were irreversible, we would have a great crisis if the harvest failed. You don't realize what it is to commit to give 60% of the population free food, more or less. Now, the public distribution system has inefficiency of up to 40%, as Jean Drèze has admitted that, and Jean Drèze is a friend of the poor. Now, a 40% wastage in a scheme like this, which is going to cost 6 lakh crores for 3 years, means you're actually wasting 2.5 lakh crores. Now, where does the 2.5 lakh crores go? They don't go to the poor. They don't feed the poor. They feed the politicians. They finance elections. Now, if the government was serious, they could do entirely by Aadhaar, give people cash, not food. If they could give 6 lakhs crores to people in cash, say 60 crore people, each will get 10,000 rupees. Each person will get 10,000 rupees. Now that would be real help,
Lord
that would be
Desai.
real, genuine help to the poor,
Lord
rather
Desai, I'd
than
like
this
to join
tamasha
issue.
about free food.
Lord Desai, may I join issue? I think what you have suggested is completely perverse. You are actually making the poor man of this country useless to work. I remember the British used to feed opium to the Indians so that they become useless to work and impotent. A suggestion such as yours to hand over 10,000 rupee checks is only making the man refuse to work. We need this. We need to teach the people skills. We need to give people jobs. Please don't make them useless to work.
Politicians want to feed only the rich. I want to feed the poor.
You may
proper money.
Lord Desai, you may choose to brush everybody with the same brush, but the fact is the NDA also ran a government for 6 years. We created 60 million jobs. As per the Planning Commission in those 6 years, this government in 9 years has created only 3 million jobs. That's the type of government they have given us. A number of scams, Colgate, Sportsgate, you have every sort of railgate. You are suggesting that these scams have no significance. And it's good to add money to the poor without giving them work.
We are discussing food security, and it is better to give money than to give food because it is more efficient and less corrupt. That's
Gentlemen,
all I'm saying.
how do you know what will happen with that money?
Anyway.
How do you know what will happen with that money?
And how do you know what happened with the food? How do you know what happened with the food? How do you happen? 40%. The PDS has got 40% wastage rate. 40%
So
of the
set that
food
right.
goes to waste.
Let us set that right.
If that is not
gets wasted, you don't
Let
get
us set
it.
that right.
No, I come back to the moot issue.
Right
No, watch it, gentlemen. I want to come to the moot issue. No, what is the moot issue?
Cash.
The moot
No
issue.
politician wants cash distribution because it's too honest.
Mr. Lord Meghnad
It doesn't
Desai.
allow corruption.
Lord Desai,
Sir.
you know,
Passion is
what? Lord Desai, 1 minute. You see, the point is simply this.
And you become
Sir.
Lord, and you are all the time abusing the politicians coming over here. I think we should not subscribe your idea. If you are in
I'm an
habit,
unpaid
Lord,
politician.
to abuse the
I'm an
politicians,
unpaid
you have a
politician.
very bad idea
I'm an
every
unpaid
time you come and
politician.
abuse. I
I'm
think
an unpaid
you lost
politician in a
the
country which doesn't
political
allow
process,
corruption.
interest in the political process, and you don't have any sort of belief in Indian parliamentary democracy. All the time you are. No, you are all the time. This is your. This is your passion.
May I please? May I please get in one second? Gentlemen, 1 minute. We have 1 second. I don't want to lose my voice 2 days before the Karnataka election. Just one simple point I'm making here today, Rashid Kidwai. Am I being naive, foolish in thinking that there could be a link between the super aggression with which the Congress party is suddenly talking about the food security bill on the one hand and this explosive CBI affidavit on the other? The explosive affidavit.
It's a red herring.
It's an explosive affidavit. It tells you how the government was trying to alter the coal scam status report. Now, am I foolish in assuming that this comes out at 11 o'clock and then you have this huge debate on the food security bill at 2 o'clock? Or are you also thinking that perhaps there's some basis in this argument? What do you think, Rashid?
No, and they knew this yesterday
what do you think,
called all
Rashid?
the MPs and the
From
Pravaktas.
Congress point of view, it's a very well thought out strategy. Congress feels that food security bill, like Manrega, even if there are problems and deficiencies, it will cater to its core constituency. Congress feels that in this country, it's not, you cannot have any elections on a single issue. There is the issue of corruption, indeed it's there, and there are a lot of issues that need to be sorted out on May 8th, what is the role of judiciary vis-a-vis executive authority. I will not get into it, but the key point is today a very senior government official also talked about some kind of communal tension brewing in six Indian states. So there is a issue of this whole thing of keeping social fabric together. I know Dr. Swami will have some view on that. So all these things, the Congress party is working on a strategy. It feels that food security bill is a game changer. There is a cash transfer. It feels that voters, particularly the poorer section of society, will feel quite happy with whatever performance of Dr. Manmohan Singh government is if they get some cash.
No, but will it work? No, will it work? Will it work? Subramaniam Swami, let me ask you.
We have example of Manrega. Manrega, it has a lot of corruption, it has a lot of flaws, but it did well. It brought Congress, it got Congress some votes in 2009.
You see, Subramaniam Swami, you criticize the food security bill. You have compared it to Railgate and Coalgate.
Yes.
I'm surprised that you are saying so, because somebody is going to turn around and say that Subramaniam Swami, and please, don't counter me, attack me, but Subramaniam Swami is a slightly insensitive politician. He does not consider the fact that this bill is going to help pregnant women and lactating mothers, children between the age of 6 and 14, malnourished children, disaster-affected people, the destitute of this country, homeless and starving persons who may not form the constituency that Subramaniam Swami and the BJP want.
But who stops them from helping these poor in any case? Does it require a bill? Damn it, do something for the poor. You don't need a bill for that.
Mr. Swami, Dr. Swami.
Now let me reply. First of all, you brought me to tears. But as an economist, I know that money always has alternative uses. That all the things that you said should be done or would be done through this bill can be done by alternative mechanisms. The whole idea of economic reform to replace the Soviet model was that we didn't want the government to do too many things. We just wanted the government to maintain law and order and build a good infrastructure. And that worked very well. Now we are going back to the old Soviet model in a new form, where the government is to do this, hand out things. They don't have the machinery to do it. And the machinery of the UPA is so corrupt that none of this money will reach the people.
Which law says that let the poor die till the food security bill comes?
No. I'll tell you.
Tell me which manual, like the CBI director says, which manual says don't give food to the poor, to the destitute, to the children, lactating children.
1 minute.
Show me which manual of the government says don't feed them except for Congress policies.
The problem.
The poor.
Can I 1 minute, please?
Subramaniam Swami is not reflecting the correct point.
I give quick comment to
Actually,
Mr. Subramaniam Swami?
he is now again anti-Soviet.
Balachandra Mungekar, please, is responding to Subramaniam Swami. The Congress is responding to Subramaniam Swami. Let's get them on the screen. Yes, Mr. Mungekar. Mr. Mungekar.
Mr. Subramaniam Swami is always expert in confusing the people. Now, what is the question of bringing Soviet model back? So, Mr. Subramaniam is accountable to no one, responsible to no one. He is basically equating nationalization of wholesale trade with food security bill. They are poles apart. The question is, government is committed to the poor people, satisfying their basic food requirements. 40% people in this country, they are even today poor. And that is why the basic question here is, now, on one hand, Piyush Goyal is saying that this is perverse, and on the other hand, if it is perverse, why they are obstructing? They are obstructing only because of the fear and uncertainty that the government will give benefit of this. My question is,
give them jobs, give them work.
Whatever, it is government prerogative.
To decide to make them useless,
who is at what time.
No, so you want your prerogative your government's prerogative is don't make them work.
Friend, you are talking,
just give them a dole.
Piyush, you are talking of corruption. During your Advani was saying that 20 lakhs of rupees, crores of rupees were stashed in Swiss bank. Did you bring 6 rupees from Swiss bank during your 6-year rule?
Yeah, because the data came out in your rule and you are shielding all the corrupt.
Please.
Mungekarji, you are shielding all the corrupt. Why don't you give out those names that HSBC?
You tell me.
Why don't you give out the HSBC names? Why don't you take action on all the Hassan Ali and all those scamsters?
Out of 20 lakh crores of... Out of 20 lakh crores of rupees, could you bring 6 rupees from Swiss bank during 6 years of rule?
So, no, what,
are you talking about
Mr.
corruption?
Mungekar,
You did not even remove age of
Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute. Mr. Mungekar, Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute. Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute. Mr. Mungekar, is there a symbiotic relationship? Is there a symbiotic relationship between Pawan Kumar Bansal and the food security bill? Because only two things are happening at the same time today. Pawan Kumar Bansal and the food security bill. I say to you, Mr. Mungekar, Mr. Mungekar, allow me. Mr. Mungekar. Mr. Mungekar.
No, you are talking wrong thing now.
One at a time.
Correlation between two unrelated things.
How are they two unrelated
Now
things?
you are talking of correlation. No, of course. My point is it is government prerogative to bring the legislation as and when it thinks, and it is in the interest of the nation. It is government prerogative. Who will rule the government? Opposition parties will
Can I
rule the
brief you question,
government.
Mr.
Who will
Anjan?
rule the country?
Can I 1 second? One at a time, please. One at a time. Mr. Anjan, 1 minute, please.
While bringing it to the fag end of the...
Mr. Anjan, 1 minute. I have not understood this thing. I first, Mr. Anjan, 1 minute, please. You keep talking about the fag end. Mr. Anjan, I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to have to directly counter you. When you were supporting the government, when there was also a dearth of funds,
Welcome.
the UPA one was not in its infancy. It was the fag end of the UPA when you stood there and supported the UPA saying, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with the farm loan waiver.
No,
How can you do a U-turn completely just because you're not with the Congress party? No, I've heard you saying fag end for a long time now.
1 year, more than 1 year left. It is one.
So now also there's 1 year left.
1 year left. Let Arnab one thing. When we were supporting and all that, saying at the fag end, let us, Arnab, just listen it. At that point of time, Bansals were not there. Anand, Ashwini Kumars were not there. At that point of time, Supreme Court had not passed many stricture against the government. At that point of time, the government has lost its credibility.
No, watch out. My question to Meghnad Desai. 10 minutes on this debate. Meghnad Desai.
They lame duck government.
Yes.
Meghnad Desai.
Yes.
Surviving.
Okay, fine. I don't agree with you.
Yes.
I don't agree with you, but that's your point of view.
Yes.
You may not agree with me.
Yes.
You may not agree. You may agree that the coal scam must go on. You may agree what Bansal has did is correct. You may agree that the CBI has been, you see,
that's ridiculous that you say that.
by the Manmohan Singh and the UPA. You may agree that the CBI has no right to put a affidavit before the court. You may disagree with the verdict of the Supreme Court, but I stand what I stand.
I want to now get in Meghnad Desai and Subramaniam Swamy. Meghnad Desai, yes. I found it quite alarming the manner in which you completely dismissed scams and the issue of corruption in your opening remarks. No, how can you make a point? You are looking at the nature of the scams as someone who took a position against corruption. Yes. May I ask you how you are so dismissive about the nature of the scams, the degree of nepotism and the extent of the cover-up that we are seeing today?
I'm not dismissive. No, Arnab, I'm not dismissive. Scams will go on happening all the time. But the food security bill is a long-term commitment of an entitlement which may cause serious economic trouble to the country in case a harvest fails. This is a very serious security problem. This is not a trivial matter.
So what about
a rail scam or a
how is the rail scam a trivial matter?
This has to be taken very seriously.
How is a rail scam?
Parliament is not discussing it. Parliament is not discussing it. I'd rather we discuss food security bill
Subramaniam Swamy
as an allocation issue. And we want to find out how many additional people are being covered because poor are covered in every state already by food subsidies. All you are doing is adding a few more crores.
No, Subramaniam Swamy.
Not the very poor. but they're not the very poor.
Subramaniam
Okay,
Swami,
so this is not
Subramaniam
about
Swami,
poverty at all.
directly respond to
This is
Meghnad
not
Desai.
about poverty.
No,
This is about corruption.
No, Meghnad
This
Desai
is
says,
about corruption.
Meghnad Desai
Political
says,
will is about corruption.
Meghnad Desai
I'm
says
not
the Pawan
taking
Kumar-
corruption lightly.
No.
This is about corruption, much bigger corruption
I don't-
than the railgate.
a job that could end up giving the person a Minister of State rank, secretary rank is being sold for 2 to 10 crore rupees. If that is a trivial matter, then it would be very surprising.
This
Mr.
is
Subramaniam Swami,
2.5.
is that a trivial matter, as Meghnad Desai says?
No, I will explain to you. Arnab, I explained to you, it is 2.5 lakh crore rupees.
No, it's about...
Rupees corruption.
So by your argument,
Subramaniam Swami's response.
10,000
Subramaniam Swami.
You need 6 lakh crore.
Mr. Swami.
I think you have understood.
Much bigger than 2G.
I think you
The
have.
issue is about having warehouses. Where are we going to keep all that
No.
food grains? These are the practical
No,
issues.
it is-
that
it
are
is-
there.
That's what I said.
It's a scam on the people.
It is that the whole
A
country...
railgate is nothing.
No, railgate is nothing, says okay, fine. Subramaniam Swami, railgate is nothing.
So-
Scams are trivial, they come and go. These
This
are
is
three-
much bigger. This is much bigger.
Precisely.
It's a much bigger
I
scam.
think what Meghnad Desai said was in fact more in line with what I had said earlier. That this is a continuation of the scam. It's a much bigger, huge scam. 2 crores a year, 2 lakh crores a year. And supposed to be for 67% of the population, 90% subsidy. How are you going to keep the accounts? They don't have the machinery for it. So all that will happen is the money will get swallowed and then they'll go on to a new scheme. Like this NREGA, after the CAG has brought out and shown what has happened, they have gone on to this new scheme. Tomorrow they'll come up with something else, maybe the communal violence bill. So therefore...
It's getting votes for them.
But it is not getting votes for them. Karunanidhi tried this in the last assembly election and the people took
Manrega
it.
didn't get votes for UPA in 2008.
I don't agree. I don't want to get into what got them the votes. That's a different matter altogether. But what I'm saying is that there was a test in Tamil Nadu election where Karunanidhi handed television sets and laptops and so many other things where people said, oh, the poor people are getting laptops now. And what happened? People took all that and voted against Karunanidhi. So I don't think it's going to have any electoral effects. And if you're going to do it for electoral effects, then it's a furthermore proof that this is another form of corruption.
Well, I don't know whether you are saying it because you mean it or because you are a little nervous.
No, not at all. Arnab, may I-
Because Subramaniam Swami and Piyush Goyal...
No, may I-
Watch.
I've never known to be nervous, huh?
Sir, not on legal issues.
But you got to take Mr. Meghnad Desai's main point. Look at the commitment. And if it goes wrong, what a huge hole it will strike into our budget.
Well, let the Congress take responsibility for it.
No, they
And
never
no-
take responsibility for any scam.
course.
They do the scam and then they divert the
Absolutely.
issue.
But-
This
Arnab, I need a minute.
issues have been addressed at the
but we
National
can't-
Advisory Council where civil society representatives are involved. This has been
Oh, it's
discussed.
all those are committed people. They don't give you independent opinion.
Arnab, I think the national discourse has changed.
If I say
The people of the country are not what they were 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I think we have a much more vibrant and vigilant civil society which will see through, as Subramaniam ji said, which will see through the government's diversionary tactic, as you put it, or red herring, to divert the focus from corruption. People realize there is no money to actually provide food. They have seen right to education led to no education but only further scams. I think the important thing is if this 2 lakh crores is available at all, give people skills, provide people opportunity to understand, to do good work. I think over 3 to 5 years we can skill the national people, and that is the solution for this.
Balachandra Mungekar, because I have you and Subramaniam Swami and Meghnad Desai, I am tempted to just pick on this affidavit issue before I let you go. Sir, this affidavit is a fascinating read. It's a brilliant affidavit. The way it is worded, technically superb, but in terms of the moral compass, it falters at many points. Mr. Mungekar, tell me, the PMO and the Law Ministry, they remove critical provisions regarding the weightage in the allocation of coal. One, proven. The Law Ministry wanted critical parts in the preparation of broadsheets on how coal blocks should be allocated, removed. Proven. There was an attempt to limit the scope of the inquiry which impacts the decision on coal blocks which have been allocated. Proven.
And by CAG.
One second. CBI changed the report to include the NDA period and the non-existence of guidelines on the NDA period at the insistence of officials of the PMO. Proven. Mr. Mungekar is so explosive, heart of heart, despite being a congressman. Do you think people will stop talking about this? Because you talked about the food
I
bill
don't
today.
know about Mr. Arnav, I'm very happy and thank you very much for summarizing these things. My only reply to this is, in this country, corruption is indefensible. On these issues, my only reply is that wait up to Wednesday till the Supreme Court gives the final judgment. That is my only reply.
Sir, you are sticking, you're hoping the Supreme Court will be forgiving. Subramaniam Swamy.
He's given an unconditional
Subramaniam
apology
Swamy.
at the end.
Yeah, he has.
He's given an
let me
unconditional
say-
apology. If there was nothing
let me
wrong,
say-
what did he apologize?
That's true.
If there was nothing wrong, what did he apologize
Let
for?
me add that when it came to the Congress party is suddenly developing a new standard. When it came to George Fernandez, there was no Supreme Court. There was not even an FIR. There was just a sting operation of Telka. And Parliament
was stalled.
stopped for almost, I think, 10 days till George Fernandez resigned. When it came to Raja, there was no FIR. In fact, there was only my criminal complaint and nothing else. And they made him resign. Same thing with the Dayanidhi Maran.
No,
But when it comes to their own, they say, let us wait till Supreme Court pronounces. This double standard
Swamy,
makes them a
at
laughing
that
stock of the
time,
country.
at that, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, so far as George Fernandez was concerned, the Congress was obstructing the presence and the replies given by Mr. George Fernandez. Here they are demanding the resignation of the Prime Minister without understanding
Because
the
he is
implications,
responsible.
and they are preempting the Supreme Court judgment.
He was the coal minister,
No, this is not- the question
Mungekar
is-
ji. Oh, he is the person who's indicted.
Whatever,
He is
my
the
dear
coal
friend,
minister.
also.
His
My dear
officials have
friend,
stopped
I
the...
can't be
His
as
officials have
I-
changed the
I
affidavit.
can't be
So
as-
he's on the dock.
I
That is
am
why,
not-
like George Fernandez, you made us resign.
Piyush, I am not.
Today he is responsible.
I am not as naive towards corruption as you are. I quoted two instances of Mr. Shashi Tharoor without even tending the relationship and Ashok Chavan. The case is still pending. My point is, you are giving sermons of anti-corruption move and
Ashok
culture in the
Chavan was
country,
brought-
despite the
Ashok
fact that
Chavan
Yediyurappa has
issue was
gone to
brought
the
to the
jail.
court.
Till he
The
was
notice-
removed
Yes,
from the party. you
yes,
could not
Mr.
remove
Ranjan.
him.
That it is
That is the
better
basic
to
point.
resign.
That is the one
Wait.
line you can only repeat,
You are
Mungekar
not
ji.
allowing to be...
Yes,
not
Mr.
a part
Ranjan.
of the
Mr.
BJP,
Ranjan.
by the way.
Mr. Ranjan.
I just want to say one thing I want to clear, Arnavji. On the food security bill, we should discuss it. As far as the left is concerned, we demanded it years together. We are demanding no APL, BPL. 5 crore signatures we have given it to the president to bring a food security bill. But the way the food security bill is brought, I think they want to hush it up and all that.
Okay,
I demand
Meghnad Desai.
that a special 3-day session of parliament, a 3-day session of parliament you invite, you
Meghnad
call
Desai.
and summon and discuss pros and cons, all
Meghnad
negative
Desai,
and positive aspects.
Meghnad
and
Desai, do
bring
the
a new
circumstances
bill
in which
and
the food
install it.
security bill is
Then
being
that
brought
will be
in,
the okay thing.
do the circumstances in which the food security bill is being brought in have some impact on its possible contents as well?
No, the government has brought it in
Yes.
the full confidence it will not be passed, and then they can blame the opposition for not passing the food security bill. They don't have to spend any money on food security, and they get good political propaganda advantage that the opposition doesn't care for the poor. It's a perfect solution at election time,
And they do
that's
it
why they
every
have done it. I mean, it's elementary
Well, in that-
politics.
well-
It's politics 101.
But it is- but-
completely elementary.
But if this is the politics, then
You
it's
don't even need Arnab Goswami
politics at the altar.
inquiring mind to find that out.
It's politics at the altar of the
Then
poorest
by
of
the
this
time
country.
of
Let's
the
follow where the
election,
story
it will
goes.
rang on the
Meghnad Desai,
Congress
Subramaniam Swamy, Rashid Kidwai,
Well,
Balchandra Mungekar, Piyush Goyal and Atul Kumar Anjan. Thank you very much for joining me on Newshour Debate 1. Thank you.